Well, very good. So again, I'd like to thank especially Ms. O'Gorman for being here today and answering all the questions that members have been putting to her. But Chair, I think you'll agree that our committee, Public Accounts, has a lot of important work to do. Yes, ArriveCAN, and we've had multiple meetings. I think we're over 15, 16, 17 meetings on ArriveCAN. But we also have other work to do in reviewing the Auditor General's reports, and as well as getting out some of our draft reports from previous studies. But our work plan has been changed many times on multiple occasions with short notice and without consultation with all members. And so, therefore, Chair, I move the following motion that given that the Chair has yet to table a subcommittee report for subcommittee approval in relation to the committee's future business, it be agreed that, number one, the committee dedicate its meeting on May 21st to follow up on the committee's recommendations, i.e. spring cleaning. Two, the committee dedicate its meeting on May 23rd to witness testimony from officials on Report 6, Canadian Net Zero Emissions Accountability Act 2030 Emissions Reduction Plan. The committee dedicate its meeting on May 28th to consideration of draft reports. The committee dedicate its meeting on May 30th to witness testimony on Report 1, ArriveCAN. The committee dedicate its regular meeting on June 4th to witness testimony on Report 2, Housing in First Nations Community. And 6, the committee dedicate its meeting on June 6th in the first hour to the appearance of Minister Bill Blair on Report 1, ArriveCAN, and the second hour to the appearance of Minister Patty Hajdu on Report 2, Housing in First Nations Communities, and that the Chair table reports from the subcommittee on agenda and procedure at the next committee meeting for approval by the committee. Chair, I believe that a document, the text has been sent in both English and French to the clerk, and I propose, if you want to suspend while members look at that.
Yep.
But I am certainly able to speak to the motion.
Yep. Mr. Janice, I see I'm going to come right back to you. I just want to have just a quick word with the clerk here for a second. One sec, please. Thank you. I see hands up. Ms. Shanahan, so we're not in committee business currently. Your motion certainly is noted, with a small edit from the clerk, which I will get to at the appropriate time. So you're welcome to bring this up when we get to committee business after hearing from the witnesses. So for this is not a matter at hand motion, so I will rule it out of order so we can get back to our witnesses and then come back to committee business as per the schedule.
Point of order, Chair. With all due respect, I challenge that decision. This is what we
that is your certainly your right to do it, and I will. So technically, you're right, Mr. Barrett. You cannot move a motion or point of order, but as the mover of the motion, she does have the floor to respond to me. So, Ms. Shanahan, just say I challenge the chair without the point of order.
I challenge the chair.
Very good. All right.
On this decision.
Roll call, please. Thank you very much. And perhaps just explain that this is.
Yes, I will read it out. I just need one moment. She's still here. Perfect. Okay. Shall the decision of the chair be sustained? Mr. Aria? No. Ms. Bradford?
No.
Ms. Khalid?
No.
Ms. Shanahan?
No.
Ms. Yip?
No.
Mr. Nader?
Yes.
Mr. Barrett?
Yes.
Mr. Brock?
Yes.
Monsieur Blanchet-Jonca?
Oui.
Mr. Desjardins?
I think it's Miss Blady.
Oh, Ms. Blaney, my apologies.
I vote no.
Six nays, 4 yeas.
Very good. I'm just going to suspend for just 3 minutes and then come back, and then I'll recognize speakers. Slight change, but I'm looking for a friendly amendment, friendly change on you so we don't have to have an amendment to it, and that is to, so as you know, I give the clerk discretion to work with witnesses on their availability. The clerk informs me that on May 23rd, we have secured transportation in place of the net zero, and the net zero study will be on June the 6th. So with your permission, we'd like to swap that on your motion. And you're signaling to me no.
No, because June the 6th, we know how difficult it is to get confirmation of ministers, and it's very important to the members. So I suggest, and I think we go into later in June.
I see. So your motion is actually proposing we bump the study on June the 6th and have Minister Haiju in.
We have both Minister Bill Blair and Minister Haiju.
Correct.
On June 6th.
Okay. Then could my amendment to your motion be then that instead of the net zero study on May 23rd, that it be the Transport Canada study? Both, I'll just point out, were priorities of government members. So I'm looking for your permission to swap one of your studies for another.
Well, we can have an alternate date then for the Canadian net zero emissions, as long as we can say that takes place before June 2020th. At that meeting, to the best of the ability. I'm going to look for some appropriate wording, but I think it's, we understand that that's normally how it happens, that it's on a best efforts basis. Yes, so I think that part of that friendly amendment, which I believe has to be proposed by someone, if maybe we can see the wording on that, would be to, on a best efforts basis, or indeed, let's say that it must be scheduled, because I
Okay, no,
believe that those
no.
witnesses,
If you want to extend your motion and move it another date, you're going to have to make that amendment. I'm looking for your permission. I'm looking for your permission to schedule National Trade Corridors on June 23rd, because, pardon me, on May 23rd, because that is where the clerk has lined up the witnesses. Yes or no?
not without a guarantee that we have.
This is, no, I'm not
report
making,
six
no, Ms. Shannon, you can.
Point of order,
Hold
Chair.
on, Ms. Shannon, you're not negotiating with me for an expanded motion. You've tabled your motion. You can come with a sub-amendment.
Chair.
Hold on, Ms. Khalid. You can come back and propose another date, but I'm not in a position to expand your motion. I'm asking for a clerical change, as per what the clerk's reporting to me, to do the transportation on June 23rd. Yes, Ms. Khalid, you have a point of order.
Thanks, Chair. 2 points. One, I believe that Ms. Shanahan cannot amend her own motion. And secondly, I do believe that you, as Chair, need unanimous consent in order to move a motion to amend any motion on the floor as well. So just a friendly reminder,
Yeah,
Chair.
well, I'm looking for Ms. Shanahan's agreement, so I don't have it from her. Obviously, it's not going to go anywhere. So, Ms. Shannon, do you want to accept my through the clerk through me change to put transportation on May 23rd? If the answer is no, we'll just open up the debate on the motion, and we can deal with the consequences later.
Well, indeed, I can't do that in good faith without knowing that we will have the report 6. So maybe other members can put forward what I would call friendly
Sure.
friendly amendments. So, and that can be from any member, including from the Liberal side. So
Okay, just watch your microphone. I think it's giving us a little feedback. So, okay. All right. I had previously said, and I see hands going up. Mr. Genuis, you had signaled prior to my suspension you'd like the floor. Are you with us to take that? If not, I'll move to Mr. Genuis. Are you ready to?
Chair, I am here, but I think Mr. Nader was going to make the comments I was going to make, so happy to hand it over to him.
Very briefly, Mr. Chair. I mean, this is obviously eating into time that we could hear testimony, damning testimony, I would say, from the Canada Border Services Agency. This is really just reconfirming what was done in our subcommittee, in which you, as chair, have been directed to undertake. So I really don't see why this is being brought forward at this point, especially since we have committee business scheduled immediately following our testimony. So I would move that we adjourn the debate and hear from the witnesses on CBSA on the damning ArriveCAN report.
I cannot adjourn debate on a motion unless you're signaling you're supporting it, in which case you just want to.
Well, if everyone's ready to deal with it right now, let's go. Otherwise, I adjourn debate, and I move that we adjourn debate and hear from our witnesses.
All right. Mr. Nader has called that we adjourn debate on the motion. Please call the roll call, clerk. And so as the clerk's getting ready, this is to adjourn the debate now. We go back to the witnesses, and then we go into committee business and can pick things up again there. Clerk?
Shall the motion of Mr. Nader carry? Mr. Aria? Ms. Bradford?
No.
Ms. Khalid?
No.
Ms. Shanahan?
No.
Ms. Yip?
No.
Mr. Nader?
Yes.
Mr. Brock?
Yes.
Mr. Barrett?
Yes.
Monsieur Blanchette-Jonca?
Oh.
Ms. Blaney?
No.
Six nays, 4 yeas.
Very good. Ms. Khalid, you have the floor.
Thanks very much, Chair. I appreciate the opportunity. Look, Chair, I have been quite clear over the past number of months that I have had the honor of being part of this committee. We can do things in two ways. We can have a collaborative approach as to how we are going to run our committee, or we can have a not so collaborative approach where we try to find gotcha moments, we try to find clips, we try to bring in matters from other committees into ours. And to be quite frank, and I really take points from Ms. Shanahan, who I learn from a lot because she's been a veteran of this committee. So that's not the role of what this committee is. Chair, you've had the opportunity to table subcommittee reports. We have a rolling work plan. And the fact that we are sitting here in our constituencies, the majority of us, trying to balance the support for our constituents while also trying to make sure that we're doing the important work in Ottawa, it's very difficult. I have constituents who I have had to cancel meetings with because I get to see your lovely face, Chair. And my constituents are annoyed by that. And I think that we have had so many opportunities to come together, to build work plans, to say, okay, committee, we are all on the same page here. We all want to work together. Here is what and how we are going to govern ourselves over the next couple of months. And you have had so many opportunities, Chair, to do that. And again and again and again, we see that things change on the fly. In fact, in our last meeting in Ottawa on Thursday, you had given indication that we would be having a committee meeting on Thursday of this week.
May I interrupt?
I am speaking to the motion, Chair.
No, you're not
If
actually.
that's okay.
No, you're actually not. The motion is about the schedule.
Indeed. And I will quote to you, Chair, the language of the motion. Given that the Chair has yet to table a subcommittee report for the committee's approval in relation to the committee's future business, it is agreed that. So what I am talking about is, unfortunately, your failure to table subcommittee reports, to come up with a workable work plan, and to, unfortunately, preempt the committee. You had given indication that you would call a committee meeting on Thursday, and yet here we are on Tuesday for a 3-hour meeting, which I am more than happy to discuss. But Chair, we need to have a work plan, and that is what this motion is really all about. It's about creating that work plan and holding you to account, Chair, because quite frankly, every single member on this committee has the same objectives. The Public Accounts Committee has a very, very clear mandate that we are all in agreement with. And the fact that that work plan keeps changing, the fact that we get duped every single time on when committee meetings are going to happen, when they're not going to happen, what the agenda is, who the witnesses are, constant amended notices of meeting has led us to this point where we are now putting forward a motion to say, hey, Chair, if you're not going to do your job, let committee members come together and do your job for you.
Point of order.
I have a point of order, Ms. Khalid. Yes, Mr. Barrett.
Pardon
me, Mr. Nader. Pardon me.
Thank you, Chair. I would just remind Ms. Khalid that it is in our standing orders not to speak disrespectfully of the Chair. The position of Chair is a important position, and we have faith in our Chair.
Thank you.
Absolutely, Chair, I have faith in you. And I know that you can do the right thing. I am not speaking ill of you. I am just calling out what has happened over these past number of months that I have been a member of this committee to try to bring some order to this committee. And Chair, I know that you're trying to do your best. I know how difficult it is for the clerks to find witnesses, to fill in the schedules, etc. But the fact that we keep amending our meetings, the fact that we keep calling unexpected meetings, it is difficult. The meeting here today has cost taxpayers over $10,000. Can you imagine $10,000 for 3 hours in which we could have been supporting our constituents and had this in our sitting week? So what I'm trying to say to you, Chair, is that this motion is a proposition as to how we are going to conduct ourselves over the next coming weeks. And we have 5 long weeks in Ottawa where we are going to be able to do all of the work that is on your agenda, that is on all of our members' agenda. We just need some kind of decorum. We just need some kind of ability to have certainty in not only our own schedules, but in the schedules of our constituents too, so that when they schedule meetings to come and see me, for example, that I don't have to cancel on them on the last minute just so I can appear here. So, Chair, I submit that to you. I am very much in support of this motion, and I'm hopeful that members of our committee are also, because what this motion does is that it gives us clarity, it gives us concrete work plan, which we have been waiting for a very, very long time, for months in fact, and a work plan that keeps changing and keeps fidgeting around with. And here we are in a surprise meeting on Tuesday. I don't know why we are doing this, but I'm hopeful that this motion brings concreteness and stability to our committee. And again, Chair, I respect the work that you do, and I look forward to continuing to work with you. And I'm hoping in a more collaborative way than we have so far. And I'll leave my remarks there, Chair, and I look forward to continuing with this debate.
Thank you. Next, Ms. Yip.
Yes, thank you, Chair. This motion was brought about because we want some certainty about a work plan. And as my colleague, Ms. Khalid, has brought up, we never know what the plan is. The emails keep coming from the clerk, amend, and so forth. And so there's so many changes. It's just, we would all like to have everybody agree on a work plan that works for everyone. So I would really like to also remind the chair that we still have some outstanding reports to look at. I think it's about 6 or 7. And some of them date back to 2022, and I really think that we do need to get back to it. But that being said, I'd like to propose a friendly amendment that that we dedicate the meeting for May 23rd to witness testimony from officials on the report for National Trade Quarters Fund, Transport Canada, and June 11th to the environmental report. Sorry, I just need a moment to get the right wording of that. It's Report 6, Canadian Net Zero Emissions Accountability Act.
All right. I'll just see if the clerk, is that clear?
She said a friendly amendment.
Yes.
She actually moving an amendment.
Yes. I took it you're moving an amendment to Ms. Shanahan's motion that we will study report 4, trade corridors, on May 23rd. And we will study report 6, Canadian net zero emissions, on June the 11th.
That's correct.
Discussion on that, or should we call a vote?
Let's call.
I'll accept it as a friendly amendment.
Looking then for discussion or UC on that. Hearing no opposition, that is passed. Back to the discussion. Ms. Shanahan, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Chair, and I appreciate the friendly amendment brought forward by my colleague, because indeed it's the kind of accommodation that we can normally expect in this committee, where members discuss either in the subcommittee or in committee business, and usually in camera, what the work plan is going to be going forward, so that there's some clarity and certainty in the work that we have to do, because we all take it very seriously, and we want to be prepared. And Chair, I have to say that last Thursday we had committee business in public for an hour, where we discussed at great length a Thursday meeting that we would be having this week, without any clarity as to who the witnesses that were going to be called. And in fact, members on the Liberal side found out that other members had prior knowledge, and on the Conservative side had prior knowledge about whether or not witnesses would be able to attend, and that was shown by a motion.
Miss Shanahan, first of all, Miss Shanahan, that was put to bed. Second, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You appear to have advanced knowledge of Mr. Haiju's availability in a few weeks that I'm aware of and the clerk's aware of, but no other members are aware of. So back to you. Let's not go down that road. Please speak to your motions and save your skullduggery.
Indeed, Chair, and I hope that you're not impugning any motions, any motives.
You were the one doing that, Ms. Shanahan. Back to you.
Well, Chair, again, this is why we have these discussions normally in a in-camera meeting where, members can speak freely, share information, and so on. But for some reason, not for just some reason, because of really weeks and months of frankly, some members not being able to have full access to all information that was made available to other members, for multiple changes to a work plan, the work plan not being sent out on a timely basis, a subcommittee report not being submitted to the committee for approval, and so then being subject to change after the subcommittee has spent considerable time working on it. And so this is why I am presenting not only this motion, but I'm very happy to receive the friendly amendment that has been put forward today. And I'm looking forward to some very constructive work by this committee in the weeks to come. And I will leave it there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Arya, you have the floor, please.
Just a short comment, Chair. I'm not a regular member of this committee, but I was in this committee during 2015-2019 when I was first elected with Conservative Kevin Sorensen as the chair, and we had NDP member David Christopherson, who was a very active member of the committee. I fondly recall those 4 years when the committee worked very well. In fact, the entire 4 years, there was not a single dissenting report from any of us. We had the majority then. And I should say, it appears the things have changed now. That's all I wanted to say. Another thing, Chair, in fact, before our committee in 2015, the departments used to send different levels of officers to the committee, but we put our foot down and insisted that the deputy ministers themselves be available for every single meeting. And we enforced it, though it was our government, at our insistence on the Liberal side, that we made sure that the deputy ministers appeared on behalf of the department. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Ms. Bradford, you have the floor.
Thank
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'd like to speak in favor of the motion and as amended with a friendly amendment. As a new MP, I know that we have two roles. One is our parliamentary duties, which take place here in Ottawa, and the other, equally important, if not more so, is our duty to our constituents back home. And this time of year, we have very few weeks dedicated to that. In fact, this is our final week here in the constituency until the House rises on June 21st. So consequently, we have a lot of meetings booked here, often quite a bit in advance. The schedule is very jammed. So I reiterate the comments made previously by Ms. Khalid and Ms. Shanahan. We get these things booked, and then all of a sudden they're upended, and we have to cancel on our constituents. It sends a very poor message. So this week, with ArriveCAN, we've had, I've lost track, probably 17 meetings on this. And I think half of them have happened during constituency weeks, which should not happen. And now we're to the point where we're recalling witnesses we've previously heard from, and they don't really have anything new to add. Last Thursday, you said that we were going to have a meeting on Thursday. So I had to, get coverage, which was difficult.
Miss Bradford, this is not about the motion. This is about not wanting to sit in recess week. Back to you.
I'm sorry, Chair. It's about the need for the motion. And I'm sorry this motion is necessary, but it's become quite evident over the past, couple of months that with these unexpected meetings that happen during constituent weeks, we need a program. We need a plan so that we can be prepared. We need to know who the witnesses are, when they're coming, so that we can prepare, so that we have some good, valid, relevant questions. That's what we're trying to accomplish here, Mr. Chair. And so I think that this plan, and we need to stick to it. We need, by passing this motion, to say, this is our work plan, and we won't be altering it. The witnesses will be lined up, and we won't be having any extra things added on that are going to disrupt this work program, because we have, reports that we need to table and get done so that we look like we're effectively conducting the work that we're elected to do. And we need to get on with it. And our wish is that this brings some structure and clarity that I feel has been missing with all these additional things that have disrupted and pushed our reports back so we don't get things tabled in the House. And it's just so that we have some structure and advanced knowledge of what's coming up, who the witnesses will be, and so that we can proceed on an ongoing basis. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Khalid.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And I just want to add on to what my colleagues have said, but also to kind of expand on all of the points that this motion outlines. So, when we talk about kind of a spring cleaning, there's a lot that's on the plate of the Public Accounts Committee's agenda. There's a lot that has been pending, and I know that our last meeting was in camera, so I can't go into details about specifically what was edited or discussed in reports, but I do recall just being alarmed at having to change dates, given how much reports have been delayed and pushed back because of calling and recalling and recalling and recalling the same witnesses again and again and again. So I think point one is very, very necessary, that we definitely need to have a spring cleaning of what is on our agenda and how we are going to conduct ourselves going forward. I think having that conversation is going to really clear up and hopefully prioritize and triage kind of what is on our plate and what we need to get done as soon as possible. For point two, the dedicated meeting for May 23rd from officials on Report 6, the Canadian Net Zero Emissions Accountability Act 2030 Emissions Reduction Plan. I think that's something that Canadians are really wanting to hear about and hear from. That report is a significant one. in terms of the climate today. We are about to go into a significant fire season where we are going to see a lot of forest fires over the summer. We are going to have multiple conversations about what climate change means to all of us, and how we as a government and how we as specifically as Public Accounts Committee is going to ensure that we are holding government to account in terms of what the action plan is with the net zero emissions. And I think that this report is very important for us to get on the radar and tabled in the House, and we do need to discuss it as a committee. So again, a very, very important thing to be included in this motion. The third point is consideration of draft reports. As I had alluded to earlier, Chair, there is so many reports that we just have not gotten to, that we should be getting to. In fact, we've had to amend some of these reports based on the delay. And I think that it is so important for us to get these draft reports tabled, because the work of the Auditor General is important. The work of this committee is important. And if we are just holding on to all of these reports, then how are we going to further the work that we're trying to do? How are we going to further the recommendations that we are proposing based on the Auditor General, based on what we've heard in this committee? I think sitting on them is doing a disservice to our committee and to Canadians as well. So I really think that's an important part of this motion as well. And, you know, as Chair, you've indicated that the ArriveCAN is very, very important. You know, this motion also speaks to that, to say that the May 30th meeting be dedicated to witness testimony on Report 1 on ArriveCAN. Because we do care, Chair, about what you think, about what all members of this committee think, and what impacts and what is important to Canadians. And so including this as part of the report, as part of the plan, the work plan for the next couple of months, I think is very important. Because I, for one, and I've said this on the record so many times, I'm so disappointed with how ArriveCAN happened. I can't believe how much money we spent on this. And I think it is important for us to put out that final report on what exactly happened here and how we are going to reconcile the 13 years, Chair, of a government who, of multiple governments who have had challenges with contracting. And I think ArriveCAN is a good example of how we can do that. We've also, you know, on the First Nation, the housing issue with First Nations, I know Mr. Desjardins has been very, very vigilant on and ensuring that we speak about this. And I know that our government has had a lot of interventions on this as well, and a lot of work. And I think that's another really, really good thing for us to talk about. And ensure that this is triaged and prioritized in what we do from today until we rise end of June. So I, again, really think this is important. And again, like with the two ministers, Minister Blair and Minister Haidu, they do need to appear because that is the will of the committee. We've passed motions accordingly. We have talked about this and collaborated this. And so it is difficult, as members have said, to get the agenda of and the time from ministers. So if we have those times confirmed, I think it would be really helpful for us to be able to schedule that in and to make sure that that we are getting them on the record for a lot of the issues that we have been discussing in this committee. So, Chair, I've talked point by point on all of the issues that have been raised in this motion, and I'm really hopeful that you yourself and all members of this committee can support this work plan, because, quite frankly, we have yet to see a workable work plan, or any work plan, to be quite frank, over the past couple of months. So we're just trying to propose something that would be helpful, that would help guide this committee and give some kind of order and prioritization and triaging to how this committee operates. So I'll stop there, Chair, and I look forward to a positive vote on this. Thanks.
Thank you. Clerk, call the roll call, please.
Shall the motion of Ms. Shanahan as amended be adopted? Ms. Bradford?
Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes.
Mr. Aria? Ms. Khalid?
Yes.
Ms. Shanahan? Or is it Ms. Sidhu?
Yes.
Ms. Yip?
Yes.
Mr. Nader?
Yes.
Mr. Brock?
Yes.
Mr. Barrett?
Yes.
Monsieur Blanchet-Jonca?
Cool.
Ms. Blaney?
Yes.
10 yeas.
Thank you all for ratifying with a slight amendment the work plan that had been sent to you all. Going back to our witnesses, Mr. Brock, you have the floor.